for people who are listening who haven't seen the logo, a few people had tweeted us and asked us to describe it. It's really hard. I tried to describe it to someone on Twitter, and you can't really describe it in 140 characters. It kind of has to be experienced, but basically, it's the flaming logo that was used for the first movie, but it morphs into the Catching Fire logo. And the Catching Fire logo that I'm speaking of is, of course, the one that's on the cover of the book, where the Mockingjay is sort of, getting ready to fly off of that ring, and the ring is also kind of a clock. So the bird moves and it spreads its wings, and the arrow disappears, and it's I don't know, it's really, really cool. It definitely exceeded my expectations.
I agree with you. I think it was a pretty defining moment, and, like we talked about, it would be worth seeing. Is there anybody else on the show right now who has seen it? Theresa, I don't believe you have yet, right?
No, my Breaking Down Part 2 did not have it. It didn't have the Mortal Instruments either. It was 4 or 5. It was probably the fewest amount of trailers I've ever seen before a Twilight film. So, but I talked to my theater, and they said it should have been there. I was in the marathon showing of, from 1 through, and they said it should have been attached. But I have to say, I know some people when, the teaser and stuff when, for Hunger Games came out, and some people missed that. So I guess this was just my turn to miss something. So I'm holding out till, Lionsgate deems such time that, they want to put it out there so that I can see it that way, because I don't want to, I want to experience it when, the way it's meant to be, and not in these illegal ways. So I'm excited to see it when they decide it's time to show it off.
One thing that I really thought was cool was the music, and Courtney, Adam, you saw it, right? Adam, you haven't given your opinion really of it on anything.
Yeah, I've just been more kind of asking other people's opinions.
What did you think?
No, I thought it was really cool. I'm not the type to be completely blown away by a few seconds of something, but I'll say this. For the few seconds that it was, I think it lived up to the hype, because it was really, I'll echo what Courtney said earlier, that it seemed like if there's not a higher budget, at least things are being done in a very sharp manner, and it looked really high production value, and it just kind of, it was one of those things where all along, we felt a certain ownership of this film because of how closely involved we've been, and this goes back to, of course, feeling, having the connection with Lionsgate, to sort of see that on screen, that, the whole marketing plan has more or less begun again. I felt really just a sense of pride in having other people in the theater observe this with me, and it just kind of made me smile. So I think I would call that mission accomplished as far as what they were trying to achieve with me.
Also, I'm just going to add, I feel like I have a lot to say about this logo for some reason, but I really like how they're sticking with the books. Obviously, for the first film, they took the logo from the cover of the first book. I don't really know what I was expecting for Catching Fire, but I feel very pleased that they are using the book logo. That makes me feel good. Crystal, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
That's okay.
What did you think about the logo?
Well, I liked what I saw, but I want to see it in the theater really badly. I want the really loud music and really big in front of me. I don't think I ever got to see the official trailer in the theaters, so I'm still bitter about that. So I think I'm gonna keep going into the movies until I see it. That's what I should have done before, because I think I went to Breaking Dawn 1, and there was supposed to be a trailer, right? Yeah. And I never got it. And then I never went to the movies for a couple months later, and then it was just not playing anymore. But I did like it. I can't wait to see it in the theater.
Yeah, you mentioned the music. I really liked the music. So, for those of you who are listening who haven't experienced it, it starts out with the music that was used in the I'm getting all of the trailers and teasers mixed up. But if you guys think back to the very, very first teaser trailer where it was just Katniss walking through the woods, that music, so it starts off with that music, but then it sort of like crescendos into this like really kind of intense, like heart-pounding music. And Adam, you're a music person. Did you like that? Did it get you excited?
I did. It got me pretty excited. And, you know, I know this is music that we obviously know, but also just hearing the dun, 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 it actually made me think of the podcast, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to that. But I like that they're sticking with that, and it looks like they're going to stick with that through the whole franchise. And I feel like that will provide some great continuity.
Now, I have another question for you, Crystal. Are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
So the logo reveal ends with Rue's whistle, just like the first teaser and the trailer and everything for the first movie. And I remember we talked about this on Skype last week because my immediate reaction was, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that they kept the whistle. But you said that you didn't like that. So do you want to explain why you didn't like it, and maybe we can, you know.
Yeah, I guess because the whistle to me was always between Rue and Katniss, and it's I don't know, it's not in Catching Fire, so to me it was just like, oh, they're using it again. I mean, I can see why, like, continuity and, like, why it's necessary because that sound is what everybody attributes to the Hunger Games. So that's important, you know. But, I mean, with that fiery bird, it's not like people don't understand what it's for.
And my take on it, and we can get Courtney, since she's also seen it, to share her opinion. But my take on it was, in many ways, like, we'll get to the tagline in a second, but the tagline is, every revolution begins with a spark. And we're calling tonight's episode The Spark because of that, and also because it looks like they're going to be using the hashtag The Spark for Catching Fire. Lionsgate has tweeted that a few times on the official Hunger Games account. But in many ways, the whistle kind of represents the spark because, in many ways, what Katniss did for Rue and her salute to District 11, that kind of was like the very first spark. Courtney, what do you think? Did you like it, or did you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like the fact that the whistle's in there. I mean, they need a hook for the series. And I think that's a good audio cue kind of a thing to use. I don't remember. Usually, I'm really super sensitive to how the music was, but I don't remember specifically how it went. Partly because when I saw it, I was in a place where I was out. I wasn't in my room. I was outside somewhere, so I couldn't really hear it. But hopefully that will change soon.
Adam, what about you? What's your take on the use of Rue's whistle?
Well, I think I mentioned before that I felt really, really proud. I'm a fan of it. I hope they keep using it for the whole series because I just feel like it's become just synonymous with all the commercials, all the trailers. It just kind of become and I know one of my favorite episodes was when we talked about the whistle when it was first introduced. You may remember, Savanna, how we compared it to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, compared it with The X-Files. What was the other one? Oh, it was from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, it's the exact notes used in that.
Yeah. Right, that one. So, yeah, I mean, I think they got something good. It worked the first time around. Why change it? Keep floating it out there. And you also want to connect people with the first experience. So people see that and they hear that and they're identifying. It brings back a sensory remembrance. And I think that's effective as a marketing tool as well as just making fans feel good to hear it again.